All right, hey everybody. This is Dom. I'm joined by Michael Smith,
Hello.
and we're gonna be watching. Scott, aka Sparky the Chicken, playing. He's playing the Esper control deck that we saw win last week, and then this is the first match for my brother, who's also known as Cosmosis Jones in this game, and he is playing I guess a Bant Aggro sort of deck. Any thoughts on that?
It looks pretty interesting. He has that combo built into it with
Yeah,
the.
he sent me his deck list to help with the commentary. The combo's all on the sideboard. He's just playing a bunch of kind of hate creatures, and he just rolled a 20, so that seems good. All right, so Scott's on the bottom of the screen. He's got all his colors and spells to cast. I'm pretty sure he has to keep. Joe with an awkward mulligan here into Flooded Grove Plains.
I still think he has to keep it though.
I think I'd keep it too. I didn't actually look at his 7 before he shipped it. This is a really good hand in the matchup. Like if you cast Gaddock Teague into Dauntless Escort, that's pretty strong. He has a lot of just like nasty. I don't
Also,
like
I think
control decks
Mirror
cards.
Crusader is pretty much unkillable.
Yeah. He's got. No, he shipped it. Although he got lands and still got Crusader Company, so.
It's a better hand.
So he's got in his deck he has like Gaddock Teague and Thalia and Heartwood Storyteller, just like all these cards that are obnoxious for control decks to play against. We saw Dauntless Escort.
Yeah, plus value cards like Greater Good and Relevant.
Yeah.
And if Chameleon Colossus ever shows up, that's just going to be nightmarish.
Yeah. Does Scott have any like spot removal that's not black?
Purge inside.
Okay, that's not helping here. Colonnade seems like a good draw for Scott there. Oh, he leads with Godless Shrine. And Joe does have the Temple Garden in his deck, so I imagine he'll be fetching that.
Yeah.
Wooded Bastion, the draw. So Scott now has to decide between playing the Colonnade or leaving up Condescend. That was why I thought he would play the Colonnade last turn.
I think he'll hold up Condescend, or because if he does, he has no removal to deal with the resolve threat.
Yeah. He does. He could play Colonnade and Weathered Wayfarer, and then he should get to activate the Wayfarer next turn. Of course, like Joe resolves Mirror Crusader.
Yeah.
I see his Lingering Souls to block. Safi Eric's Doter.
It's a bear.
This does put Scott into a place where he probably has to act. So, picks up another land. It's possible.
I think I would.
Go ahead.
I think I would cast Mentor here and just try to create a steady stream of blockers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he needs to play either Mentor or Lingering Souls. The Wayfarer gets any land in your hand, right?
Yes.
Okay.
think is it plains? No, it's any land.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess it helps him find Tron, although I don't think that's a plan in this game. And yep, here's the Monastery Mentor. So see if Joe, I think it's pretty clear here that he should, unless he draws something else. That's something else. I was going to say I think he has the main phase Collected Company here to play around counters, but he might just play his 2 creatures.
Does Scott pick up any wraths?
I believe he has Supreme Verdict. I think I don't mind just casting Safi and Voice here. Like, you're pretty much not getting Wrath with those 2 cards in play.
Yeah.
I can't see a block on Crusader here. But I think casting Voice puts Scott in a pretty awkward spot. It was like he wants to be playing counter spells, but then he doesn't want to be playing counter spells.
Yeah, you won't be able to cast the Remand or the Condescend. Giving your opponent a 4/4 and a 5/5 seems terrible.
Yeah. So let's see, what can he do here? Tasigur is 6 mana, 4/5 right now.
Will be good eventually.
Yeah. I feel like his only play is just to cast Lingering Souls and make 3 tokens. That's not terrible. He can
activate
also
the Wayfarer first.
Right. Just get some value, use his mana efficiently. I think there's a good chance that like what this Collected Company finds is gonna have a possibly matter more than anything else that's happening right now. What land does he want? No. Apparently he wants Hers Is Mine. I guess he's got all those colors. So even though Tron is very far away.
And he doesn't have any other value lands besides that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got his... I guess he could have gotten Creeping Tar Pit, maybe. But I don't think that's where this game's headed. So we get 2 1/1 Flyers and a 1/1 Prowess. Lingering Souls Monastery Mentor is some pretty good synergy. He gets to cast a spell twice. I feel like
actually get this. You may actually swing with the monks next turn.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see some of the interactions come up, just from like cards that weren't played together. Like we were talking last week about Goblin, Rabblemaster, and Hellrider would just be ridiculous. This is another interesting combo. I realized when I was testing for my match yesterday that you can Zealous Conscripts their creature, and if you have Falcon Wrath Aristocrat in play, you can sack it. I think that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And speaking of cards that weren't played together in standard, the Goblin with the Battalion that gives first strike and trample with Pile Driver seems really good.
Oh, yeah, that's Legion Loyalist, I think, is that card.
Yes.
That does sound pretty cool. I have lost 2 goblins in Legacy from Legion Loyalist, making my Batterskull token unable to block. That's definitely a thing. So I think here comes Mirren Crusader.
Yeah, in for the beats.
To trade with it, Scott has to block with his mentor, so I'm pretty sure that Joe is happy to attack here. He's like, I think you would. So you basically get the mentor and 2 tokens.
Do you think he might
Oh no, he didn't attack.
cast the Collected Company pre-combat to try to get an Exalted trigger?
Yeah, I could see that. If you're gonna cast it on your turn, which you probably still are, you could just play the 4/4. I think if you are casting Collected Company this turn, that yes, you should do it pre-combat.
It just seems more impactful than a random 4/4.
Yeah. He does nothing.
Wow.
It's a sword.
And that is probably the best draw that he could have hoped for.
Yeah. So he gets to... Yeah, he gets to make a monk, equip a flyer. That seems strong.
Yes. And then re-equip and have a great blocker.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Joe has Reclamation Sage in his main deck. I think that could be something to company into. Sword is a problem.
Joe just has so many hateful creatures.
Yeah. And it seems like he needs to get set up more quickly, but than he did this game. Like mulling to 5. Messed it up.
Yeah, we got 3 creatures for protection from black plus the run.
Yeah. He doesn't really have a way to kill a bunch of monk tokens, though. So Mentor is a 3/3. We lost a monk token. One of the monks is a 2/1. Or a 2/2. Taps the spirit, not the sword. Alright, so seems like you definitely cast Collected Company right now.
He must have it in his deck.
You could also just...
No, forcing discard on the Smiter. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even pick up on that. That's cute.
I don't think it's going to matter at all, though.
Well, yeah, he could just make a protection from green blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Joe misses on company here, I think he's just way behind. Looks like...
He gets a flashback lingering souls this turn, too?
Found Willie Fleet's Run Banishing Light on the bottom. Those are not legal targets. Restoration Angel, oh man. Island. Did he brick?
Said no hits.
He bricked. That's
wow.
awful. This game's probably over. He's been really unlucky this game.
Yeah, his opening hand was so strong with the Mirror Crusader.
Yeah. He does get the Loxodon Spider. But yeah, I don't think that's going to actually do a whole lot. So Scott can flashback Lingering Souls, move sword to a blocker. And then
gets 3 tokens for doing it.
Yeah.
And Joe doesn't have anything with reach. And he just put the resto on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sky took the Cloud Thresher.
Yes. Sky stack looks scary.
Yeah. Curious to see it in action. This is just getting out of hand. Phyrexian Metamorph, does that do anything?
Gives him his own sword. But I don't think it does anything.
Yeah, like all the creatures are white, so he can't get it through.
Oh, he didn't move over the sword.
No, he left mana up to, I guess, cast a counter spell. Maybe he just doesn't care about giving him a token at this point.
I think that's how he loses, just because he just runs out of blockers, but maybe not.
He also can't
Or he just
Metamorph.
might not have played very much with voice.
Yeah. He's just bringing the heat. I still think I would have attacked with the Crusader last turn.
I agree.
You gotta try to crowd control some of this somehow.
Does he have any draws out of this?
I'm not sure. Like, he doesn't have a lot of things he can do. Like, his plan if the board becomes a mess is to combo, but you can't combo game one because the combo's in the sideboard. You know, he killed 2 monks. I wonder if you just, like, metamorph the voice and make it so we can't play spells anymore and hope to draw something. I don't know. It definitely looks like a tough spot. Scott can also just, like, take damage. He has 16 life.
Yes. I guess his best draw is Reclamation Sage if it's in the main deck. Or no, Banshee Light's at the bottom too.
Yeah. I Collected Company into nothing is rough.
Yes.
Like, you mulled a 5, and then that card's supposed to unmulligan you, and then instead it just mulligans you again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has to cast this. I just don't know what good it does. Maybe you just copy Mirren Crusader, because then he can't block even if the sword gets re-equipped. There's just not a lot of good things to copy.
I think Mirror Crusader is probably the best copy.
Yeah. None of Scott's creatures are worth copying. Metamorph on the stack. If I'm Scott, I definitely don't remand it. I could see Condescending. Scrying is tempting. It's like you immediately get up. Yet again, the I would never make this play.
Same.
Joe didn't make
No
a
voice
token
token?
though, so I guess that worked out. The old miss trigger.
That scare is a good draw.
Yeah. I pumped the team. Yeah, whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn. Yeah. Must have just forgotten about it. It's like the whole reason Oh, there it is. Maybe he was just having trouble with the program or something. Alright, so we got an elemental. That's better. And that was like the reason I wouldn't remand it, because like I feel like the way that Scott loses is if Joe just brings this huge army, he's just like crunching over with these giant ground pounders, and Scott just has to keep chump blocking all his tokens.
Exactly.
Which is
So
why,
hitting for 6 in the air each turn to end this game quick.
yeah. The old Eye of Ugin draw. If Scott wins this game, or this match, he is alone in first place.
Actually, Scott has a kill in 2 turns. 6 this turn, and then attack with Colonnade next turn.
Oh, yeah. Tassiger just got a lot better.
Yeah, he just has to live through the next turn and attack his opponent.
It should be very easy to do. I definitely missed the Colonnade. That probably makes the remand a lot better, actually, than I gave it credit for. I still think I like Condescend better. But I don't know. Metamorphing the Tasker is not going to do anything at this point. So it's probably fine. He even gets to untap. Oh, I'm really bad at Sword of Feast and Famine. So I missed the Loxodon Smiter thing. He has to discard the Metamorph. So remand's actually just great. And I'm just bad at it.
Yeah.
So hashtag bad commentary. Sorry about that. We'll try to do better the next time.
I wasn't thinking about that either.
Yeah. I just like stopped playing Magic when Callblade mirrors were happening every round. So I actually didn't play that much with Sword of Feast and Famine. I think Joe is actually drawing dead here. Yeah.
Yeah.
This game was not very close, but Joe did mold a 5 and his draw was pretty bad. So I actually think I like how his deck lines up in this matchup.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer to be on the Bant deck in this matchup. Scott just drew the right cards for the game.
Yeah, the Mentor is one of the ways he can run away with the game and do it fairly quickly. Raven's Crime. What happened? Oh, he activated Tassiger.
Tassiger.
So I assume Joe gave him Raven's
I would
Crime
give him back to Grizzlebrand just for the...
Just so he can't reanimate it, yeah. Although he's pretty close to casting it. He's at 6 mana. That's pretty close, actually.
Let's see if Scott sees lethal.
Raven's Crime doesn't do anything anyway. He's empty-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta animate Colonnade. For once, I'm actually pretty sure this is the correct play. And instead he activates Tasker.
Yes.
He flipped Dismember and a Tar Pit. So she's either getting back Dismember or Gristlebrand.
Wow. Well, I still don't think he can lose, but I'm just going to go a little
No,
longer.
it seems pretty tough. Grizzlebrand is returned. Joe goes to 5-3. Yeah, 5 doesn't seem right.
3.
This guy gets to untap all his lands. He can condescend anything. Yeah, so Bird is done. Time to talk about the next game. Playing's a strong top deck here.
So in comes Deathmark.
Yeah, Deathmark definitely seems good. Maybe he doesn't bring in the whole combo. I think Great or Good is pretty good. But he may want to. Yeah, no, he has a lot of relevant cards already. I just think he'd do really badly.
The asceticism seems good.
Yeah.
Though most of his creatures are kind of good against spot removal anyway.
Right. Somebody got lots of control hate.
Wargate. Haven't thought about that card in a while.
Haven't seen a Wargate in a while. Last pick, right? Let's see what he's got. Yeah, I like a lot of these cards. Yeah, I don't think I'd bring in like Blasting Station and some of that nonsense. Laboratory Maniac. He should be playing Eternal Witness if he's not already. I think he has Warden in the first stream main deck, but definitely that's a good one drop. Can bring in Great Sable Stag. So many protection cards. Vexing Shusher, Grand Abolisher. Yeah.
Yeah, he can just turn into a very hateful deck and invalidate most of the spot removal and counter spells out of Scott's deck.
He's got plenty of game here. Scott, on the other hand, I think mostly, other than the Death Mark, I think wants to leave his deck pretty close to how it is already. He might want Disfigure if he's not playing it already. There's a lot of 2/2s for 2 to get rid of. Yeah, Scott has already submitted his deck.
I think I would just take out the Raven's Crime and switch it for the Death Mark.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Raven's Crime is awful. Pay 1 mana to let you put your 4/4 into play. He didn't take the trifecta though. He took Wiltleaf Liege and Loxodon Smiter, but nobody took Obstinate Bailoff.
Card's pretty good.
Yeah.
Draw a card with Sylvan Library.
Hey, gaining 4 life is pretty strong. It looks like we're ready for game 2. Joe with another sketchy hand. Scott with 2 land.
I think Scott's is a keep. He has
Yeah, he can
spot
fetch-
removal
he
and
can
good
fetch
cards in the
Bloodless
matchup. But looks like Joe might be punished with his mana base here.
Yeah. Island not doing much work here. That's really borderline. He currently can cast 0 spells.
Is that one island just for Path to Exile?
I think you can like get it with Flooded Strand or something. But Yeah, I don't even know if he needs it. I think you just keep this one. Although he's gonna get punished by Dismember, but I think you keep it.
Yeah, this
Bant
Disfigure's
sweet card.
gonna be quite good.
Yeah.
Let's see if Scott gets his shock and
Gets aggressive
goes to
here, yeah.
17.
People have been bolting the bird for 22 years in this game. Like, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say he's not gonna know how good it is, but he'd probably still do it anyway.
Yeah. Godless Shrine.
Joe topped
Oh,
the
he didn't
forest.
do it.
I
You
think.
get punished for this.
Yeah, I think I would play Dauntless Escort here. You could play Warden and level it up, but yeah, I guess it's not that different. Dauntless could protect your Noble though, if you really need that land. Or like, it's a only source of white or blue mana right now.
I think Scott needs to take the pain, take the life. He's going to get balled neck on cards if he doesn't.
Yeah. He could have still killed Noble in response to the Escort. Well, that's way worse than had he just killed it. Joe still can't cast Bant Charm. Any land can cast Wiltleaf Leech, and then any white or blue land can cast Bant Charm.
So I'm thinking Thought Scour yourself and maybe Dismember to Dauntless Escort.
Yeah, he still just did nothing.
Didn't even try for the land.
Yeah, I guess he can anticipate end of turn. It's probably gonna get ugly though. I would definitely cast Smiter main phase if you're gonna do that, or whatever creature you're gonna cast this turn, just in case like he changes his mind. Is like disfigure the Noble when you can't save it with. You actually can't even save it with Escort from these particular removal spells. So Escort gets him for 4. So you can either post-combat Smiter or Warden. I like Smiter just because you don't get your spell countered.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's in really good shape. Scott not casting Anticipate? Oh, okay. He just went to his untap for some reason. So you gotta cast something.
Yeah.
I think he just has to take a land. Even though like he has like Sphinx's Revelation and Unburial Rights don't do anything.
Yeah, he needs land.
This looks like he took Fetid Heath.
Yes.
We haven't seen what he shipped yet. Celestial Colonnade and
Tarpit.
Mentor is an interesting draw. I think it's probably too slow this game though. Well, maybe not. He could play it. He takes 7 going to 8. And then he can start making blockers. That might actually be fine.
Yeah, I think that's the right play.
I mean, he's gonna massively get punished if he gets a Bant Charmed, but
yeah, like he can cast Disfigure, Thought Scour, and Dismember in the same turn and get 3 dudes.
Yeah,
it'll cost him a lot of life, but
right,
he won't die.
Yep. Just need 1 life point.
Plus, his mentor will be a 5/5.
Yeah.
And eat something.
Oh yeah, could just literally block.
Yeah. I
Monastery Mentor has been better in this format, I feel like, than any other format I've seen it played in.
I think he's the best I've seen him in when I watched the vintage streams.
Oh, yeah, he does
He's
get out of hand in Vintage. Gosh,
incredibly good with the mocks.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Definitely better than, like, in Standard or Modern. Can Joe draw this land? He did. So I guess he has to decide. I'll be surprised if he casts Wiltleaf Leech here, just because, like, I don't know. He just lost to this card. So I kind of feel like I'd be surprised if... Nope.
Yeah.
He may not even understand the danger. Like, your opponent basically didn't do anything turn 1 or 2. Like, you're probably not putting him on having 3 1-mana spells next turn. So I kind of understand it from that perspective.
That's true enough, but it is going to be.
He is getting in for 11 right now, because the green and white creatures get pumped twice. That actually matters a lot, because...
Yeah, that gets rid of Dismember.
Dismember can't be cast for 1 mana. This is actually going to work out really well. It also gives him 3 lethal attackers next turn, which means that... So Scott's probably only getting 2 tokens, which means that the Bant Charm is probably still going to be lethal. Just like bottoming any one creature, presumably the Mentor.
Yeah.
Scott's still thinking about blocking.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, I think he's just dead if he blocks. Like, it doesn't feel good taking 11 damage. Alright, so he blocks Smiter and takes 5. I just don't know what he's hoping to draw. Like, he can't even cast Supreme Verdict, and even if he could, it just trades with the Escort.
Yeah, I think his hope was to take it, block with some Monk tokens, and if he survives, hopefully hit something good of Thought Scour and reanimate it.
Yeah.
But none of that even gets to play around the Bant Charm.
Slaughter Pact and Snow Covered Swamp got flipped.
Yeah,
Slaughter
this game would
Pact
have played
also
out
good
a lot
with Mentor.
differently if the Noah Hierarch died in turn 1.
Yeah. That's why you always bolt the bird. That's coming from someone who's played green decks most of his life. You always bolt the bird.
Yes.
Azoria Signet seems bad here. That's the kind of high-level analysis that our viewers want. This 2-mana artifact that does nothing seems bad right now. Facing down 4 creatures. Can he even survive the turn now?
No.
He can dismember Wiltleaf Leech and take 7? So I think he can survive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he could.
But he's not going to bother. The writing is on the wall at that point. Like, I don't know what he's going to do. Just under too much pressure. Yeah, Joe drew that second land that in Or he drew the second and third land when he needed them, and was able to capitalize on. Scott may have just been too passive there.
Yes.
It's like,
Because you
what
even
else are
missing
you
the white
disfiguring?
source for so long, like if the noble hierarchy was the only source of white.
Yeah, once he misses the second land drop, I feel like you just have to kill it. All right, well, it's time for game 3. Scott has no lands. Joe has
Logan,
1 land, so I think we're both
that's
going to
Logan
6.
too.
Scott with
Whew.
a mess of a hand.
So if Scott just goes, oh no, you can't even do that. If only reanimate costs 1 mana.
Joe's hand's pretty bad too.
I can see Scott keeping it just because he won't have color issues.
Yeah.
But
looks like he did. Joe went to 5 and actually has a really good 5. He's got Thalia. Scott went to 5 also. And he's going to 4, I think. This could be an interesting game. No, he kept the 5. I guess if you land into Condescend, it's not bad. Voice is just really good here.
Yes.
Thalia is going to be the complete nuts if Scott does not draw land right now.
If he draws Island, this could be a game.
Boom.
No.
Can't cast the Bant Charm. Bant Charm actually a bit of a nombo with Thalia, but I don't think it's going to matter here.
One turn late.
Yep. Thalia effectively countering Glacial Fortress.
So I think you use Condescend as a scry 1 here, right? Or scry 2?
Yeah. It's very possible. Like, you have the Supreme Verdict. You are pretty far from casting it, though. You might just be looking for a cheap removal spell, basically, that is a land. Definitely play Voice here. And yeah, I think you definitely Condescend now, because, like, he didn't. I was going to say...
He didn't.
So, Condescend, Raven's Crime's still in the deck, although it's actually fine here. So now Condescend also gives him a token, and still doesn't counter anything.
Yes.
So and he has a dead Condescend in hand and drew a bad card this turn. Like, he can cast it. I guess he'll get a Bant Charm, but he could even Eternal Witness it back.
I think he crimes himself and gets rid of the Iona.
Oh, okay. That's a plan. I forgot you can target player discards a card. Yep.
But I didn't cast anything.
But he did nothing. Joe drew the 4th land for Thrun. Which I assume is the play, since Eternal Witness is a 3-mana 2/1, and you can't cast Bant Charm.
Yeah.
Here is the last troll. Yeah. Scott's just, like, playing too passively, I feel like, these last 2 games. Like, even if he's not making the exact plays that we're saying, like, I just feel like he needs to play cards. Like, he's just dying with so many cards in his hand.
And he's trying to maximize value when he doesn't have time to actually cast the spells.
Right. Especially, like, in this game, your opponent mulled to 5. Like, you don't need to maximize your value. I guess a mentor, like, trades with Voice of Resurgence. Certainly not where you want to be. Joe picks up Chameleon Colossus.
What a beating.
I guess that's fine. Yeah, because there's no way that Verdict could happen next turn, right? Is even if Scott...
No.
Well, he'd have to draw a land and a Slaughter Pact, and even Slaughter Pact costs 1. So... I would normally say, yeah, leave front mana up, but I don't actually think anything can go wrong. So, like, what are Scott's outs here? I mean, do you think he can't block Thalia because it has first strike, but should he trade with the voice, or should he just, like, plan to cast Raven's Crime and make a token and try to chump block and draw a couple of lands and cast Verdict?
I think he takes it here and just tries to Raven's Crime.
Uh-huh.
But
I believe that was the worst block possible.
I agree. He could at least save 2 more life by blocking Throne.
Yeah, or he could have killed Voice.
Voice would have cost him more life in the long term, I think.
Yeah.
Because you likely have another 4/4 attacking in the next turn.
Yeah. This is...
Or 5/5.
This is, like, lethal several times over. So the Colossus is lethal, the Thrun is... Or the Colossus plus the Thrun is lethal, or one of those creatures plus the other 2 is lethal. So he's basically got to answer 2 creatures. Which he can't do, so... That should be the end.
That's the game.
Does anything stand out to you other than bad mana?
Poor sequencing.
Yeah. I just felt like Scott wasn't aggressive enough in those last 2 games. Hello there.
Hey,
Hi.
Congrats.
thanks.
That was an ugly match.
It was a little awkward.
A lot of mulligans. We think both of you may not have built your mana bases correctly, although we're not sure. Basic Island seemed really bad every time you drew it.
I was running 1,
Yeah.
and only 1.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just don't have enough blue sources. I don't know. Did you, I'm not sure if Scott's joining the call or not. He might be
I don't think he is.
upset after that. So,
He didn't seem like he was bad.
you'll see when you go watch the game again. So, he could have, in game 2, he could have disfigured your Noble Hierarch on turn 1, and he didn't.
Yeah.
If he'd done that, he basically wins on the spot. It's like you never drew colored mana for like 4 turns.
No.
Yeah. That was your only source of wipe the entire game, actually.
Yeah, it was.
We
I'm
were
aware.
really surprised he didn't kill it once you missed your 3rd land drop, and then you only had Forest, and then like he just let you cast a Will-Leaf Leech.
I was surprised that thing lived. I didn't even know what he had in hand.
There was one point where he definitely had like a Dismember and a Disfigure and just like did not use them. It was very weird. Like we were commenting as we were watching that like it seemed like he played the game very passively. And maybe misassigned his game role, but which often leads to losing. But you did what you could. So you took 5 mulligans in 3 games, I think.
I think so.
I think that's a record for the league so far. I took 3 against Michael in week 1, but that was pretty rough.
Yeah, I got some bad
What
draws up.
What did you see anything interesting in the first game? We felt like you just couldn't do anything.
I wasn't sure what to even do during that first game.
Although it was sweet when you played the Collected Company so that you would have to discard Loxodon Smiter. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't relevant, but it was cool.
Yeah, well, I didn't know he had the sword yet. That just was at the time the lucky play. I had those two cards.
We actually were thinking maybe you should have main phased it, but I think it actually turned out better. Looks like Scott's joining now. Yeah, did you have Reclamation Sage in your main deck?
No, he's sideboard.
Okay, I remember you sent me your list, but I couldn't remember. Or I didn't have time to go pull it up during the match. So, yeah, that sword was pretty brutal.
Yeah, the only artifact I have in main board is Bant Charm.
Okay.
And you don't have much to interact with flyers either.
No, not a ton.
So, and yeah, that was a... We were saying how the mold of 5 wasn't that bad because you could get 2 cards with Collected Company and then you just got 0.
Yeah, how'd you like that sweet Collected Company though?
Yeah. We're watching the chat. He's like, oh, he's putting cards on the bottom. Maybe he's just gonna put his last 2 into play. And he's like, nope, he just keeps putting them all on the bottom.
Oh, did you not see what they were?
We did.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott left the call. Okay, well, if he comes back, we'll ask him why he didn't disfigure the hierarch, but I don't know if there's just some reason we couldn't see or something, but let's see. So yeah, game 2. Did you think about? Okay, this was the one play that I wanted you to do something else, but what you did worked out. So the turn that you played Wiltleaf Liege, did you think about just Bant Charming his mentor?
Bant Charming mentor. I thought about it, but I just decided to just go for it instead.
Yeah. It was easy for us to say. Because we could see his hand, but it actually worked out really well for you because he just chump blocked. We were pretty sure he should have gone to 4, and then he had Thought Scour, Disfigure, Dismember all in his hand. So there was a chance he would have been able to play several spells, but going to 4 was rough though because he would have had to pay 2 for the Dismember. So I think he didn't have any great outs, but at that point, his out was killing Noble Hierarch. I think if he did that, he would have just won the game. But
yes,
you have no control over that, so you did what you could.
Yeah.
Did you think about keeping the 6-card hand game 3?
I thought about it. I didn't think it was a very good idea.
It wasn't good, yeah. Especially once he also mulled the 5, it seemed like.
Yeah, he sounded like he wasn't happy with his 6, so I figured I'd be at least somewhat safe mulling to 5.
Yeah. It turned out that the draw was just very good against his 1-lander. I think I phrased it that Thalia countered Glacial Fortress top deck.
Was there anything you would have been able to do if Thalia wasn't there?
He had Condescend in hand, and we actually thought that he should have cast it just to, cast it for 0 just to scry 2 and find more lands. And then he ended the game with Condescend in his hand. So, pretty sure we were right about that. But do you have any questions, Michael?
Not really. Love everything.
Yeah. I mean, game 3 was really straightforward. It's Scott had basically nothing, and then Thalia was pretty rough.
Yeah, first strike when he blocked.
Yeah, that was definitely his worst of the 3 blocks. He probably just forgot about it. Did he? You were talking to him, right?
He told me after Thalia dies too, and
you were like, no, it doesn't.
not exactly.
No, okay. Yeah, so you just forgot it had a first strike. Because, I mean, he either could have traded with voice and at least, like, he had Supreme Verdict in hand. He was far from casting it. But,
Gosh, Supreme Verdict was my biggest fear game, too. When I looked at, like, my board and realized he had 4 mana then, and I had just a bunch of creatures that would just all be dead.
But didn't you have Dauntless Escort in play?
Game 2?
Yeah. That was the Noble Hierarch game, right?
Yeah, I did have Escort. Yeah, I would have just used Escort. I forgot about that.
I think you were fine. Yeah. Yeah, he either needs to block voice and hope to top deck well and set up a verdict, or block front and take 2 less damage. But it happens. We've all played games poorly before, so or made mistakes. And
well, I can't stay for too long, but
okay.
That's all you guys had called. So
he explained to us that you forgot Thalia had first strike, which was something we were confused about in this last game.
Yeah. You know how I love to read cards.
Bonus extra text. Yeah. This is not why you play the card. It's just like was randomly relevant there. Yeah. What I guess it's like the one thing to ask is, did you what was your plan or reasoning for not killing the Noble Hierarch the second game?
I'm not quite sure. I went, well, if he gets Crusader, that's more of a target than the Hierarch. And
it's protection from black.
It does have protection from black. See, these are things that I should remember, but don't. This is why I'm not good at Magic.
It happens sometimes. Yeah, people, they've been bolting the bird for 22 years.
Yeah.
You didn't know, but he only had 1 land, so you.
Oh, really?
Probably just win the game if you do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to make judgment calls. Obviously, like if he has a hand that's like full of mana sources, it's like not a great play. But
yeah.
And I guess there are other 2 toughness creatures you're worried about. Like this figure does have other targets in the matchup.
Yeah,
Thalia and Gaddock Teague and stuff.
Yeah, that was my more concern than just a mana dork.
But I think sometimes it's easy to get biased when like we can see the other hands, and he's just like, oh, he's just gonna do this. But I thought maybe you should have done it once he missed his 3rd land drop and like just had forest and didn't play a land for a turn.
Yeah.
But as you go back and watch, we were. Yeah. Obviously, just like the last game was rough.
Yeah. Do you think me mulliganing when I had all of them burial rights in my hand was the right call?
Yes, but
we disagreed. I thought you should have mulled, but Smith thought you should have kept it. So.
Yeah, I could see keeping it because you weren't gonna have any problems with your mana, and whatever you drew, you should be able to cast.
Right. That I was like, if anything, I have like 2 cards that'll let me discard my hand, or things in my hand, which will be okay. And then I mulled and had 1 land, and I was like, great, this is not any better at all.
It's very risky. Like I understand that if you just like draw Thirst for Knowledge and cast it turn 3, you probably just win.
Yeah.
But there's also just a lot of scenarios where it doesn't do anything. It's almost like
I just have dead cards in my hand.
So yeah, probably could have gone either way. Obviously, like your next hand wasn't good. I actually thought you may go to 4, but I don't think your deck's very good at going to 4.
No, I thought about it, but I was like,
so many colors.
It's too much for me.
Yeah. There was one other thing, right?
The Condescend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that crossed your mind. Just to like, even once Thalia came out, you could have just kind of set it for 0 to try to find more lands.
I would have needed a target though, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would have the target in the voice.
Yeah, but wouldn't I still need to pay an extra 1 anyways to cast it from?
Exactly. You would pay both your mana and.
You do.
I got what you're saying.
You're not countering the spell, but you are scrying too, and like you did
Right.
have a card in your hand at the end of the game, so
Yeah.
that doesn't like necessarily make it right. But it seemed like you just really had to draw lands, especially once Thalia came down.
Yeah.
I
had the verdict, but it didn't have a mana for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Magic's hard. we all goof up sometimes. The first game was pretty impressive. Like that was a bazillion tokens. It was just like
Yeah.
overwhelming with everything. I feel like we've had a lot of games of just like people not drawing lands and stuff.
I think that's part of just a lot of the 3-color mana bases.
It could be bad deck building. Like that is. I'm not trying to ignore that.
Yeah, I was looking, and I only actually have 16 lands, so that's a thing. I thought I had 17.
Really?
Yeah, that's a land less than normal.
Well,
yeah. I could have sworn I had 17, but apparently not. I miscounted somewhere when I made my deck.
And 3 of them are Tron lands.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Which honestly, that hasn't really affected me too much at all, actually.
Yeah.
Except for, one game last time where I had Eye of Ujin. all of Tron is going to become a sideboard now, so I've decided.
Well, this is also part of why we can change our decks going to next week. Or into round 3 anyway. I guess next week's still round 2.
Yeah.
A couple of us.
Game 1, you missed lethal with your Celestial Colonnade, though. It didn't end up mattering.
Yeah.
It was way ahead. But yeah, good to be aware of these things. And oh no, we got anything else?
No.
Okay.
All right.
I tell my brother this too, but don't be too mad at us when you watch the video. We were kind of mean. I felt like after upon reflection, but we were just trying to. Part of it's just trying to find all the things. It's a lot easier when you're watching than when you're actually playing the game.
Yeah, we're not under pressure, and we have full information.
Yeah. So it's not a fair comparison, really.
Also, you two do PTQs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. Adios.
Yep, have a good night.
See ya.
Alright, that'll do it for tonight. Thanks for joining me on commentary.
No problem.
We'll, I think we're going to be, I don't know when we're getting the streaming going, but if we do stream, we'll be next Sunday, probably, July 5th. So keep an eye out for that.
Sounds good.
Thank you all for watching.